What is happening, guys? Welcome to Flow State Activation. I'm your Flow State coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm talking about the killer instinct. Last night I was taking part in Evolution of Consciousness 2021, and so it was an all-nighter. However, I integrated all that information this morning, so I'm feeling really pumped up, feeling great, even with the sleep that I had to catch up on today with a couple of naps. So, what is the killer instinct actually about? I think people have this misconstrued and they misunderstand this. Okay? Now, you will notice a couple of things. First of all, people think that killer instinct is playing your best all the time. Like, if you were to play a soccer game or a football game, in a sense, you were to play like it's your very last. Well, sometimes when you play like it's your very last, you become selfish, you try to become the star player, you try to impress others, you start fumbling, you get really pressure on, and it puts you into this mindset of over-trying, okay, like over-trying. Like you're trying, you're just pushing too hard, you're not in the flow, you're in struggle phase still, okay? So, when you change that mentality that I'm not just playing this game like it's my very last, this is another game and I'm going to only exert my will when it's called for, and instead I'm going to play at the rhythm of the flow of the game. I'm going to find the rhythm. I'm going to find the momentum and the harmony in the task that I'm doing, rather than forcing it to be my way, rather than wanting it to become perfect. Okay, this is the first switch that I want you to mentally make. Second switch is something called focalization. So, a lot of people, they stress about their past, and that kicks them out of the flow state. Okay, so if you're playing, I'm using the game of athletes because killer instinct is really a term used in basketball and, sports, competitive sports usually. So, what you want to be doing is, let's say that you have a bad memory of you making a bad pass or doing something wrong in the past. Now, it is up to you to use mental imagery to make you mentally tough. Okay? Use mental imagery to make you mentally tough. Meaning, imagine that a granite wall is slamming behind you and your past is no more. Like it's just crushed it. Or imagine that if a memory comes up, you immediately dissolve it with your third eye, or something like that. You need a visualization. You need an imagery where your past comes up, you crumble it. You need a visualization particular to you that makes sense for you. Okay? So, I would be using the analogy of a lightsaber because I like that analogy of using that towards the flow state. Not that I'm a huge Star Wars geek, but I like that imagery of just like, like lightsabering through the past when it comes up in my mind. That's what I do. A little memory, a little trinkle of a bad memory comes in. Alright, it's cut in half. Boom. It just dissolves on the floor. Okay? Focalization. You know how Indiana Jones, he walks in and then he's trapped in the place, like the door closes behind him, like that's it. He can't go back, he has to figure out what to do next. And that is the true power of the killer instinct, is knowing just what to do next, just what to do next, just what to do next. And engaging with that. Engagement rather than force. Also, when you talk about killer instincts, killers are artisans, they're artists, they're creative people, right? They're calculated. I love that word, calculated, right? They're not like, oh, I'm going to go in here and like, bah. Like, if you notice even, serial killers, let's use that example, like, they're very cunning, right? They're very clever. So if you want that killer instinct, you want to be able to preserve your energy for the right moments, and it's all about the pacing, right? Like, a jaguar just waits for the right time, and then he pounces. Because he's preserving his energy. You can run after the gazelle, and you're running, but then using all of your fuel tank in that activity. You notice when you're playing video games, let's say you ever played, like, here in India you play PUBG or whatever, I don't know if it's taken away, let's say Fortnite or whatever, or Counter-Strike, let's use Counter-Strike as an example. Like, the people who can use the sniper really well, from a distance, they can camp, they can do that, that's that killer instinct. It's like, that's that waiting for the right moment, and then striking, rather than just being able to go full force, and then just play, and then burning yourself out. Okay? So this is what I want you to do when you really want to tap that killer instinct on. It's like, preserve, 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 bah! Preserve, preserve, exert my will, preserve, 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 dominate, preserve, 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 trash talk slightly, preserve, 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 preserve. So it's all about energy maintenance. Okay, you got to save your battery, because you want to use it only in the right moments, in the right pockets of time. Another thing is, you want to know your enemy, you want to know your opponent, you want to know your prey. Okay, so in a sense, when you want the killer instinct, or the flow state in this case, you want to basically understand that I know who my enemy is. Even if you're giving a speech, you got to know who your enemy is. Who are the haters out there? Who are the people that are going to distract you, take you down? If you stand for world peace, you are fighting the conflict. Okay? Now that's a paradox. You're fighting the conflict, but in a sense, you know your enemy. You know the people who are trying to take you away from peace. That is the enemy. Okay? If you stand for, let's say, being unique, your enemy is conformity. You get what I'm saying? So take your top trait, your top quality, or top thing that you're doing in that moment, and then find, like, who's the enemy, who are the people that are trying to take you away from that. Okay, you're being hunted. That's the mentality. You're being hunted. People can take something away from you. That puts you into a competitive edge, into a slight paranoia, where you're like, man, I gotta turn my back. People who live in high crime rate environments, they're always on alert mode, because they know they can get attacked or knifed or, shot at any time. So they're constantly on edge, right? They're like, what? And that actually puts you into a flow. It puts you into the zone. You gotta have quick reflexes, okay? Quick-witted, quick reflexes, off the cuff. Practice doing that. That's really going to make it natural for you to get into that killer instinct. Using imagery, I think that's one of my favorite ways. Our mind thinks in images, okay? So you want to use the proper, appropriate images that really get you motivated and really get you into the zone. The mindset of an athlete is everything that they're doing is gearing themselves into the flow state. Everything that they do brings them more into the zone. Okay, so try and have this mindset, that every time you do something bad, it's a fluke, it's a joke. Okay? This will put you hyper into the zone. I'm telling you right now. So you did something bad. Let's say you're playing basketball, you missed. You quickly envision it wasn't actually a miss. I actually got that basket. You delusionally, just edit that in your mind, and you feel different in that moment. Okay, cool. Or if you do miss, you say, that's a fluke. Psh, that's a fluke. That never happens. It's an outlier, right? General rule, I always get it in. I always get it in the basket. Okay? And if you do get it into the basket, you want to stack that win. You want to stack that win. So it means that if you get it into the basket, you're going, man, I'm a trendsetter. I'm a trailblazer. Nobody's ever gotten it into the basket like I have. Me winning, me getting into the basket is timeless. It is going to be a ripple across all of humanity. What I've done, because it's coming through me, and I'm the only me that there ever is. That's the mindset switch, okay? So I want you to practice these different things that I told you. Composure, okay? Composure, 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 and then attack. That's what you want to work on, okay? I hope this video helped you out today. Have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. I'll see you next time. Peace.